Let's make history. The neighborhood of Longwood in the East Bronx got its name from the Longwood Estate, which was a well-known mansion that was in the vicinity. It was built in the mid-1800s, and that got the name Longwood because of the length of the property. Plus, it was an abundance of like different trees, small garden areas. Like they had like a woodland almost as part of the property. Longwood is part of the South Bronx, but more like the western side of Longwood is part of the South Bronx. Longwood is more so considered part of the East Bronx. The 6th line, the neighborhood is sadly most known for the 41st precinct, and there was even a film made about it back in the early 80s, and it was called Fort Apache, the Bronx. Not to be confused with the original Fort Apache movie. There's another classic movie called, like a Western style movie called Fort Apache. This is called Fort Apache, the Bronx, starring Paul Newman. Pam Grier is in it, Danny Aiello, and it's a cult classic, but it was made about the section of Longwood around the 41st precinct and just how crime infested it was, really. Longwood essentially starts at 149th Street, going north all the way up to 167, and from the Bruckner to St. Anne's. Man, two highly significant things happened in the development of the Bronx. One was, of course, as I often state, the building and the extension of the elevated trains of Manhattan, and then in around 1904, 1905, the creation of the New York City subway, which went up into the Bronx. That was one factor that brought a boost to the economy. The second was Robert Moses, who was New York City's infamous city planner. He was the guy who came up with the idea and mapped out where all the highways and other now iconic structures in New York City would be. The Cross Bronx Expressway, once that was built, many residents were displaced as that was built, and they further started to develop the outer skirts of the city, of the Bronx, things like Co-op City, you know, Tracy Towers, a lot of the areas up in the North Bronx. People with means, people who were doing better financially, began to leave what they call white flight, but don't believe the hype, because these people weren't all white. There were indeed successful people of other races that, you know, that were doing well financially, that chose to leave. When they left, as the Bronx began to get more and more dense as far as population, they went up to the North Bronx. They were replaced by people who weren't doing so well financially, the working class, and basically people who were dirt poor. The Bronx was, especially that side of the Bronx, Longwood, was somewhat of a Jewish community, and other Europeans as well. There was a lot of Jewish people in the area. And again, they went and moved up towards like Co-op City and even out into Westchester County. And then they were replaced by the great Puerto Rican migration, which took place in the 1920s, but more so like going towards the 40s. And then also projects, housing projects being built during the mid-20th century. And many African Americans came, also African Americans from the South also came up. And now, of course, you have Dominicans are probably the largest ethnicity. New York City is not the same New York City. Let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe to Will Flores TV on YouTube. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and X.